Oh hey guys, and welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be another book haul. I really have no reason for this one. I mean, at this point I just really need to stop going in shops, or even just stop leaving the house. But if I stay in the house, I have Amazon. There's really no safe place, is there? A lot of these I did actually pick up in a charity shop or a thrift shop, if you live in America. I actually got 6 of these for £5, so I really can't complain, and it definitely lowers the guilt level about buying more books. And speaking of the books, I should probably show you them, so here we go. The first book I have to show you is Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray, and the light is doing that lovely thing it loves to do again. Just gotta learn how to angle these things. Or hold it on this side. Holding it on this side is weird. So Vanity Fair is actually one of those books that I read in high school during my A-levels, and it's definitely a very big book. So we didn't study the whole thing, we just studied select chapters. And while we were reading it, I considered it to be a sort of really refreshing classic, because I hadn't really read many classics at that point. I definitely wasn't as well read as I was now. And in my head, classics sort of meant stuffy books about boring people, and one of the main characters in this book is actually just a total bitch. And I found that really refreshing at the time, because I didn't know that classics could have unlikable characters. But I never actually read it after I read those select few chapters, and when I saw it in the charity shop in this Penguin English Library edition, I just thought I would snap it up. I genuinely don't know when I will get to it, because it is humongous. But it's just something that I've always, thought about in the back of my head that I would like to read someday, and now I have it. Speaking of unlikable characters, we have You by Caroline Katniss. This is the psychological thriller novel told from the perspective of the stalker. It honestly feels like I'm one of the last people on BookTube to read this, but I actually started it yesterday afternoon actually, and I've literally got about 70 pages left. It is so addictive. I don't know what it says about me that I'm just loving a book told from the perspective of a stalker, but it's just really, really addictive. And it's been a long time since I've read a book where the author has really utilised a sort of crass and abrasive writing style, and since the main character in this is clearly a sociopath, it really works, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'll probably finish this one up, probably within the next hour. The next book I have to show you has a little bit of a story behind it, and that is The Children of Dynmouth by William Trevor. This is actually a Penguin Decades edition, and this one is from the 70s collection, if that means anything to you. I picked this up originally because of the synopsis. Now, when I was in university, I did English literature with creative writing, but I wasn't very good at creative writing, it turns out. I thought I was going to be, but apparently writing is not something that I am going to do in my lifetime. But while I was in university, I did write a couple of stories for my course, and the one that I was most proud of, I guess, or the one that I thought was the best, involved a group of kids who sort of stalked people. Who knew stalking was going to be a theme with this book haul? But they stalked people in their village and then later went on to blackmail them. And that is the exact synopsis of this book. It follows a character named Timothy who sort of follows people in his village learning their secrets, and apparently he has a very sinister purpose for doing that. I never actually heard of this book while I was writing my story, so it was a bit of a weird coincidence when I stumbled across this on Goodreads, but I'm interested to see how this story is handled and see the idea that I did terribly, probably, done well. So I'm hoping this one's pretty good. The next book I have to show you is a sci-fi book, and that is Lunar, New Moon by Ian Mcdonald. I actually picked this one up because it was listed in a video done by Kalandi or Kalandi, I don't know how to pronounce the actual channel name, but she did a book all about queer protagonists in science fiction. I'll actually leave that video linked in the cards or in the description below for you to check it out. Definitely a good video if you are looking for some diverse reads. But in this world, apparently sexuality is a lot more fluid, and they don't follow traditional gender roles. I believe it's told from the point of view of 65 protagonists, which is quite a lot, and it's one of those books where I actually sat down to try and read it the other day, but it turned out I wasn't in the mood. But they have a character list at the very start, which goes on for 5 pages, and then they have a map as well, which I don't think you can see, but there you go. So it was a little daunting when I first opened this up, but I am interested to check it out soon. It simply says on the back, "The moon wants to kill you," which definitely intrigues me, but apparently the overall story is about people who are living on the moon, and then it sort of starts to become uninhabitable, and then there are sort of some warring families. I've seen one review on Goodreads sort of call it a Game of Thrones in space. I'm definitely excited to check this this one out and read about some more diverse worlds and queer protagonists in science fiction. The next book is one that I just picked up on a whim after I saw a few people review it and enjoy it, and that is Little Lies by Liane Moriarty. This one is very popular and the author is very popular on Amazon, and this actually has a HBO, I want to say, series starting very soon, in the next few days, I believe. And it's going to star Reese Witherspoon and Nicole Kidman. So lots of talent there. The overall plot is apparently a sort of murder mystery that involves sort of schoolyard mother politics. The story also follows three mothers in Australia, so it definitely fills my New Year's resolutions to read more books set in Australia. And yeah, overall I've just heard it's a very entertaining and easy read, and I'm looking forward to getting into this one. For the next book, we get back into posh people being bitches in classics, and that is The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton. So I am slowly collecting together Edith Wharton's books because I read The Custom of the Country, I want to say it was about 2 years ago now, while I was on booktube before I went travelling, and I really loved it. It probably is my favourite classic overall, and I really liked it because, again, the main character was such a bitch. But that is apparently what Edith Wharton is known for. She's sort of known for writing about the lives of posh, rich, bitchy characters in her novels, and this is the last one of her New York set novels that I needed to pick up. The others are The Custom of the Country and The House of Mirth. So I have all three of those now, and I'm really excited to get to them. I will probably leave this one for the last out of those three because I've heard it's her weakest, but The House of Mirth is definitely next on my TBR. The next book is another one that I simply picked up on a whim, and that is Dark Matter, A Ghost Story by Michelle Paver. I'd never heard anything about this book before picking it up. I just decided to pick it up because it was a ghost story, although the cover is not what I would call looking like a ghost story. I'll hold it on this side so you can see it for a bit. But this novel basically follows an Arctic expedition as they head to an isolated island at the very top of Norway. It follows four characters, I believe. Our main character is called Jack, and through some unfortunate instance he ends up being the last one on this island that is clearly apparently haunted. I have actually read this book, so I will talk more about it in my wrap-up, but it's told in journal style, and I honestly found it to be just a very, very easy read. It has very short chapters, and I think the ghost story was done quite well. So if it sounds like your sort of thing, there we go. And then the last book I picked up simply because it is a nice edition, and that is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Hold it over here again for you. This is part of the Penguin Deluxe editions, I believe. I never actually used to be one to collect editions, but they've just started really appealing to me lately. I think everybody generally knows what Wuthering Heights is about. You know, there's Heathcliff and there's some moors, but I've never actually read anything by either of the Bronte sisters. Oh, I said Eva, I forgot about Anne. Poor Anne. She always gets forgotten. But I'm definitely interested in trying some of their books. I have been getting more into classics lately, and this is sort of, well, it's one of the classics, really. So now that I own it in this really nice edition, I can pick it up soon. The only annoying thing is they put a sticker for the price in the shop, and because of the material on the side, it ripped the spine. Why would you do that? Heathens. Heathens. So there you have it, that is going to be the end of my book haul. It's a pretty eclectic bunch there, but I am excited to read all of them after I finish my Stalker book, obviously. As always, if you have read any of the books I've mentioned in this video, leave me some comments below and we'll have a little chat. But I hope you enjoyed this video, because I will be back with another one very soon. Goodbye.